Today is March 10th, 2026. We're going to call the meeting to order. We have all board members present, and we also have future possible board member Taylor with us that you never know. 12 years old, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. First item up on the agenda is the acceptance of prior minutes for January 20, 2026.
I'll make a motion to accept the prior meeting minutes of January 20th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under new business, we don't have anything. Steve, you have any new business? John?
No?
Jim?
No.
Okay. Old business is the Flint Road landfill. Pretty much we're in a holding pattern. We're just coming out of winter. I believe they were doing some tree cutting. Jim, you and I talked briefly about it. We're waiting to get some soil samples back to us before we move forward with importing product.
Yeah, we should hear from DEP by the end of the week on the ONDRIC whether they approve the use of that material. They did put a trailer, and Bruce, they've asked permission to put a fuel tank there, and I told them I don't have a problem. You need to contact the fire department to get a permit to store and maintain.
Okay.
They're going to do it.
Hey, how did we get to the point of whether we're using a scale or an offsite scale, or how we weighing product?
I believe it's an off-site scale.
Okay.
And it may be on Griffin Road.
Okay.
Maybe that one.
I don't think that's happening.
Bruce has set it up for them, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So they have to monitor that. And
Yeah. If it's coming out of Ondrix, I think they have their own scale anyway. So.
I believe that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the Griffin Road one's going.
And I believe CMG is going to be the LSP of record.
Okay.
Because they couldn't, and he felt it was in the best interest of the Board of Health for disclosure that he was doing that, and that way you can feel confident that the soils are checked properly and everything is okay.
Yeah.
So.
Good. All right. We have PFAS under old business. Anything you want to bring up?
There's some issues with PFAS that were brought up by one of the planning board members, which I spoke to you about the solar panels as far as giving off PFAS when you dispose of them, and the lead that's contained because they're coming from out of country. So we have a meeting later this week, and she wants to just talk about it, general knowledge. So I'll update the board on what she has asked all the department heads to take a look at it and make sure that things are going to be done properly. I don't think there's any problem now. I think it's in the disposal end of it, in this battery storage of. I think they're looking at on Brookfield Road. There's going to be another one going up there, so they're trying to mitigate some of the problems now.
So are they certain there's PFAS in those panels, or are they suspect? Or?
I don't think there's any data that would support that, so I think it's hearsay. There are typically from out of the country, but that's not something. They're enclosed, encapsulated. I think there'd only be an issue if they were broken. But I think you have to start thinking about it now, because in 20 years when they're no good, where are you going to bring them? They can't go to landfills. They can't be disposed of. Where are they going to go?
So right now they're going in dumpsters, going to landfills. That I know.
Exactly, and that's going to create a problem. That's why we have a problem now with PFAS in our landfill, because we didn't know it was PFAS at the time.
Yeah.
But the DEP has not stepped up and regulated. We voluntarily are testing for PFAS, and I don't think they're moving too quick on adding that to the VOCs.
Yeah. It wasn't really voluntary.
Well, they sort of told us do it
or we weren't going to get to
Exactly.
move forward with the closing of the landfill. It was high
more-
pressure voluntarily.
but
Just
they have
so
not.
Told.
Yeah, and they really haven't stepped up to give any information or provide any guidance that. But we're paying for it. We're testing at the best interest of the people that have wells in that area.
So it's just interesting because, to me, just in discussion, because you see all these larger solar farms, the 10-acre ones, 20, 30-acre ones, and you always talk. I've always had these conversations because I'm there on the build a lot of times, and we have the conversation about, well, what happens in 20 years or 25 years? Who's now the landowner's stuck with these things, right?
Yeah.
And then for the most part, there's a lot of metal, all the posts, all that. So all that's recyclable. That's actually has value to it. And then so you'd actually have to get rid of the panels themselves. And we talked about in this office even like taking a FAM on a solar farm. So if you want to build a solar farm, you have to take X amount of dollars, put it in a kitty, so in 20 years, 25 years, when decommission time comes, there's enough funding available to help decommission that. And if these things are now loaded with PFAS, the cost to get rid of that safely could be like crazy, so it's interesting.
I spoke to Jane, assistant town planner, because Randy's been out. I'm not sure when he's coming back. And she said there are like insurance policies on some of them that they mandated, but not on all of them for that later.
Yeah, but insurance policies, like
Fire.
for fire and things, but I can't see an insurance policy going 20 years out from now.
There'd be I think for damage or something
Yeah.
in the first whatever time, but I don't think they could just. It would be cost too much money for them.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be able to keep the ones that are, in compliance. That if they didn't want to put insurance on it, then how are we ever going to be able to keep them in compliance?
I just don't know how we could tell someone on their own private property that we're going to restrict that. Everyone else has these solar fields that all of a sudden now you can't do it.
Well, I like the idea of the FAM because the FAM is a financial mechanism that you put up like a bond at the beginning of the project, or the solar company, or whoever the people that have the money to make this happen, they put that, even if it's just an insurance bond that could be good for 20 years or 25 years, then at least you have funding, guaranteed funding when the decommission comes.
I think that's what Laurie Degnan
Yeah.
is what she's trying to. Let's start talking about it now. So,
Yeah,
but she gave us till Friday to give, and I just told her I can't give.
yeah, that's short.
I think it's really, I think you have to absorb it, do your research, and what is the data to support this? And that's something we need to look at. And I did email her back, and she said, "You're right. That's why we're talking now."
I've been all over the country, Illinois, New York, with these big solar farms. And when you put in, just say, I'm just going to pick a number, 3,000 panels, 10% get damaged, right? So you got 300 smashed panels that never went into service to begin with because they got damaged. And then I've seen pallets and pallets of surplus panels that at the end, when they're trying to close this thing out and get it online, they just go in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Some of them towards the end were actually buying sea containers and then storing those panels for future use when the other ones went bad. But I've literally seen thousands of brand spanking new panels go into the dump, like several dumpsters per site of just nothing but panels. And it's a shame because it's a lot of money too. But if it's loaded with PFAS, it's like
People are buying the glycol systems now that actually heat your house. Water goes through, heats up through these tubes, the like solar panels, and heats up the water and heats up your floors, does everything. But they're dangerous if they get broken, and they're glass.
Yeah, so off topic a little bit, but the house I grew up in, we had solar on the roof, but it was plastic, hard plastic, and the water circulated through that on the flat roof. It actually heated a pool, but that was late 70s, all through the 80s. So it's old technology that probably didn't really catch on.
Yeah.
But it was solar on the roof.
Passive. It was passive solar. I think
Passive.
it's passive. You heat the water up, so it's passive. And I actually did a report on it back in the 80s myself.
Yeah.
And they're worried about the battery storage at these
Yeah,
fields.
they were talking about the batteries.
They leach.
The batteries are leaching.
Yep. Oakham's dealing with that issue. They're trying to keep people updated on it. Lori goes to those, I think, and checks on those. But
Yeah, she
heard
did
that.
mention Oakham. That they're
Yeah.
coming up with a policy for it and stuff, so she wants to start talking about it.
That's a good idea on the batteries, and it's probably a simple fix ahead of time if you think or suspect that these things, you put a containment tank
Yep.
that is suitable. It's not a deal breaker. It's more work and more money, but you could still get your batteries and feel
Safe.
confident that
Safer.
it's
Yeah.
not going to fail. But anything else, Jim, on PFAS?
No, I'll keep the board updated if I meet with Laurie and just kind of listen in and find out what she needs from us
All right.
and let keep the board updated.
So next on the agenda is going to be department head reports.
Normal inspections, making sure we are compliant. I had a lot of work to do for the grants, paperwork, 250 questions. And we had a class today, and the girls have been attending classes to make sure. We've got a lot of COVID money left, so I discussed with Andrew today about it, and I called the state just before John came, and we wanted to look at innovative ways to restock our trailers, spend the money appropriately, but not give it back, because we have till July 1st. And I think that the state said, spend it on what's going to be allocated for it, and use it. Don't return it, because it's going back to the federal government, not to the state. So they're encouraging us to spend it appropriately, but spend it. So
Is that because they're mad?
probably, but I just think that I wouldn't want to return it either. This is directly COVID money that came to the town shop through a grant that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
The other for the regional grant, we still have money in there that we need to spend too. But that's going to end. Looks like 2027. They're going to be asking us to do some other things that I'll keep the board updated on. But
So with that discussion, what does our board drive? Are we still driving that electric van?
we were just talking about, we were looking at getting an SUV. The van itself in the winter is unusable.
Mm-hmm.
It took me an hour to clean it off last snowstorm, and it only has 2 seats in there, and no one will touch the back, which I thought we could, mount other seats to use it, or possibly put a nurse's station in the back. Because of the batteries, if you drill through the floor, no one will touch it.
You lose your warranty.
You lose your warranty. So it really set us back on that. So it's paid for through a grant. I'm not sure if he's going to sell it. We'll keep it and use it for somewhere else. Maybe for barn inspections or do whatever, but it's way too big.
So for the longest time, including currently, the board has always had a vehicle, and it's been for I remember the mill fire. Some of the members got into the Board of Health truck and went down, official business. It was a mill fire and all that. You go door to door on multiple times a year with water or filtration system requests and all this, right? The camp inspections, so maybe not so much the undercover stings, but a lot of things that this board does. And you use your own personal vehicle, which I don't blame you for doing it. I probably would too, but I don't know if you should probably have a Board of Health vehicle.
Well, I have, if I may through you, Mr. Chair, I have discussed getting another vehicle. Andrew's aware of it. It's placed in the capital budget for future, acquiring a small SUV.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think we should ask Molly and Kim to go out and do an inspection in their own vehicles.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
get in a car accident, it sets the liability, and I do pay the mileage, but when I show up at a big incident, everyone's got these brand new SUVs and big trucks, and I'm driving my Subaru.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have bought a Subaru.
I bought a new one because of you. We'll talk about that.
I thought I had talked you out of the Subaru. What I didn't intend for you to do was go down and buy another Subaru.
You scared me.
The thing of it is the Board of Health does have a vehicle. It's just not right.
Yeah,
we
we
kind of
could-
got this electric thing kind of pushed on us.
Well, it was big COVID then. We thought we were going to do go to home for the shut-ins and do the right thing. It all went to wash when they would never touch the back of it, and we couldn't because we had avoided the warranty and possibly ruined the whole vehicle. So no one will touch it. I think it may be good for picking up chip-in and all the food that they want, and maybe that's something that can go later. But if it's the middle of the winter, I'm not taking that thing out. We can't even get out of the back in the summer if there's wet leaves.
Yeah.
So I think Andrew knows, and we discussed it today about a vehicle.
So the
Getting one.
funding that the town has, that surplus, would that be a legit allocation for that?
No, we discussed that too, and it specifically says it cannot be used or spent on a vehicle or food. So, but I think Andrew knows that we're going to need it. I think there's an extra SUV lying around that will be brought over to the Board of Health, lettered properly with the Board of Health vehicle, and used by other people that are doing inspections.
Yeah.
Because you're right, we do need a vehicle.
Yeah, we do.
And I did get the van, so I can't complain, but It's what I asked for, but it certainly wasn't what I expected it to turn out to be.
Yeah.
So, middle of July on Copper Hill Road, the thing's rolling backwards. It's not safe, and you wouldn't want anyone else in there. We're rolling back onto 169. It won't go forward.
Yeah.
So, there's something,
What brand is that?
a Ford,
Ford. You know what they say.
found on the road dead, fix or repair daily.
Flipped on race day. The Mustang.
But we will, and I understand, and you're absolutely right. We do need a vehicle for here, and Kim tried to drive the van, and she couldn't even reach. It's hard to see, and she was too nervous.
It's not for her.
It's not for her, and that's a big vehicle to pull into. Sturbridge Coffee Roasters in the back, and everyone parks it, and now she can't get out. I have to go there.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, honestly, in this town, we should have four-wheel drive
You're right.
something.
We do. Because I go out in bad weather, respond to everything. You need something that's an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive vehicle, not a front-wheel drive or a rear wheel. You need and like I said, everyone else has got big trucks and driving. The fire department's got 5 or 6 SUVs, and everyone, all the inspectors, and it's only fair that this very important department we have one. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
We'll have one in the next budget.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need all the bells and whistles.
No,
and the
no, it'll
shit.
be-
Like, it's just something that functions.
You're right.
You know. Anyways. All right, what else you got?
Just that the sign will be put up at the landfill. They're still, like I said, working on the Andric, but I think they'll get going soon. I think we'll probably have a meeting next week, and I'll inform the board of the meeting. But Bruce, once we get approved from the DP, is going to want to meet with the board to discuss it.
Just on the water filtration systems down in that, have we stopped going out to 500 and 500 feet?
We've gone to the point where it stopped, and we've added some people onto the list that we've delivered water to. But we've got a non-detect, so it stopped there. So we're not going out any further.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get a detection of 1,4-dioxane on one that we were testing that had to be reported. Normal thing, but that it was reported. We just sent it into DEP. It's just a mandatory report that it increased a little. So.
Do you know, and you might not, but it's okay if you don't, but do you know how many water filtration systems we have on the landfill issues?
2.
There's only 2 water filtration systems? Oh, I thought we had more than that.
Just the 2 that I know of that Gary put in that needed to be put in, and we did. So that took away. They still have to do testing, but I think there could be a third, and like I said, don't quote me, but I know there's 2 definitely, possibly a third. And that's it.
I thought there was 6, 7 of them.
No, it's not that many.
I thought we did have a few, but yeah.
But who knows? We could in the future start putting some into, but it doesn't delete the fact that you still have to do the testing.
No, I understand that.
So, are they a cure-all? I don't know. PFAS probably is something that's supposedly not able to be filtered out. Well, 1,4 is not. Remember, the 1,4-dioxane is not something that
It's not easy.
not easy to filter out. I think MTBE was one they could filter out,
Mhm.
and that's what. But we have a lot of issues with not issues, but the banks want letters for the shared wells that the board approved for the auxiliary units that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and we did one just the other day. The COC wasn't enough for the bank, but a shared well is something this board's approved. So.
Yeah. So what did we just say? We authorized the shared use
Well, I
of the
sent
shared-
a letter from me that the Board of Health voted on this date at this meeting that shared wells were approved by the local Board of Health unanimously, and
Okay.
I send that to them.
Oh, that's fair.
That's it.
This was a bank that was after this?
Yeah, because he's borrowing the money. He's the first guy on. He's on Learned Street.
Oh, that's the guy who was here.
Yeah, the guy that was here.
But
He's still-
it can't be split up. The property can't be split up, right?
No,
So I don't even understand why there's a concern.
He's spending a lot of money on this, but he wants to get his son in there with his wife and his grandkids, and he's going to move into the small one. Very nice guy. He was just here Monday, asking for the letter. I
He
said,
was here
"Sure."
a couple meetings ago.
Yeah, and so we've got the letter out, and the bank thanked us for sending it out and clarifying it. So it looks like he's all set.
What else you got?
That's about it for now.
All right. Is there any other business unknown at the time of posting? Nope. All right, well, moving right along then. Let's see when we want to have our next meeting. Do we have anything time sensitive for Gary? Or this DEP meeting that you talked about, or can we go a month, or?
We can go a month. I think if Bruce is going to post a meeting, it'll just be to discuss the approval. He's required to do once every, 8 weeks, he said, a meeting, just to update. I don't think any of the board members came last time because there was really nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. It's just the trees. But he will, once that letter comes in, if that soil is approved, I'll make sure I forward it to all the board members separately. And that's going to kick off to where they can start accepting soils. They're going to get their, they need to fill their trucks, so it's only, and I have to get the hydrant, put a meter on the hydrant for them.
Who wants that, the town?
No,
Southbridge?
no.
The
I don't know
contractor.
what- They got to pay for the water that comes out of the
The
hydrant.
contractor does?
Yeah, the contractor needs
Oh,
it,
I
because
thought
he's
we
gonna
were
put it in
giving
his
water.
street sweeper. Nope. We'll give him the hydrant, but there'll be a meter and he's responsible to pay for it.
We're tight.
Very tight.
We're tight.
Which hydrant they gonna throw up there?
The one at Charlton Middle School is a big open spot where before you go down to the field in the back where they have the basketball and they play pickleball and stuff down there. There's one that's big trucks could get in, they won't interfere with bus traffic or anything right there. And that's what the one they identified to be the most usable one where the big truck could get in and not cause any issues and the road could handle the weight of the truck.
So 4 weeks looks like April 7th, which is a Tuesday, which is the weekend after Easter. It looks like Easter is on the 5th Sunday. So 4/7, does that seem,
I don't know. I can't. I'd have to look at her.
yeah. So it's not a no?
Not a no.
All right, how about you, John?
I'm good.
So let's pencil in 4/7, and then we'll just see what's happening at that time. And again, if you know something comes up and somebody can't be at the meeting, we can always call in and do over the
Yeah, I have
phone
two
or whatever.
phones and that's fine. And
It's fair game. So we've determined that to be 4/7. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
6:23.
6:23.